There is a story buried beneath every civilization, a story older than language, older than scripture, older even than the memory of humanity itself. A story whispered in symbols, carved into stone, hidden in myth, and echoed quietly in the hearts of those who have ever felt a longing they could not name. It is the story of the Cosmic Mother, the first consciousness, the primordial womb from which all existence spilled into being. Most people have heard fragments of her, the compassionate goddesses, the Earth Mothers, the celestial queens of ancient religions. But these fragments are like scattered pages of a book we've never bothered to read in full. What if the true wisdom of the Cosmic Mother wasn't simply about fertility or creation, but about a forgotten spiritual technology, a blueprint for how consciousness expands, heals, and reconnects with its origin? And what if humanity's deepest struggles, our disconnection from nature, our internal wars, our fear of the unknown, emerged the moment we turned away from her teachings? Tonight, I want to take you somewhere ancient, somewhere sacred, to a dimension of understanding that does not speak in commandments or dogmas, but in symbols, rhythms, and living truths. Because the Cosmic Mother is not a deity to be worshipped. She is a frequency to be remembered, a presence that exists not only in myths, but in your breath, your intuition, your very cells. In this video, we will explore what the ancients tried to tell us about her, and why their message was buried, rewritten, or dismissed. We will explore the secrets encoded in lost civilizations, forgotten temples, and esoteric traditions that point toward her hidden power. And then we will journey into the heart of the mystery, what the Cosmic Mother represents in your personal spiritual evolution, and why reconnecting with her energy might be the key to healing the silent wounds carried across generations. By the end of this exploration, you may discover that the Cosmic Mother is not lost at all. She has been waiting, quietly, patiently, for humanity to remember how to listen again. Just know this: what you're about to hear isn't mythology. It is a map, a doorway, a return. If you're ready, let us begin. To understand the Cosmic Mother, we must first unearth the ancient world. Not the world found in textbooks, but the one woven through symbols, rituals, and mythic memory. Across cultures separated by oceans and millennia, one figure appears again and again, the primordial feminine force. She is Nut in ancient Kemet, stretching her star-filled body across the sky. She is Shakti in Vedic philosophy, the dynamic pulse of creation. She is Sophia in Gnostic texts, the divine wisdom that births the cosmos yet falls into the material world to awaken it. She is Tiamat in Babylon, En in Taoism, the great mother of early European mystery schools. But these are not merely goddesses. They are metaphors, keys to a lost understanding of how consciousness emerges and how reality itself is held together. In ancient cosmologies, creation was rarely described as a command or a sudden spark. Instead, it was often portrayed as a gestation, a breathing, expanding emergence from a cosmic womb. This womb was not physical but energetic, the field of pure potential, the unmanifested, the silence before sound becomes music. The ancients understood that reality did not begin with a forceful act, but with an unfolding, a blossoming, a movement from within. So why did this wisdom fade? The shift began with the rise of patriarchal empires, societies that prioritized conquest over contemplation, hierarchy over harmony, and dominance over communion. The Cosmic Mother's teachings were not merely suppressed because they centered the feminine. They threatened the entire logic of empire. Her wisdom taught inner sovereignty, intuitive knowledge, interconnectedness, and balance, all qualities that make people difficult to control. And so her symbols were reinterpreted, minimized, or rewritten. The divine feminine became reduced to domesticity or fertility. The mysteries of the cosmos were replaced with rigid doctrines. The living universe became a machine. Intuition became superstition. And humanity, for the first time, felt alone. Yet fragments of her presence survived. Gnostic mystics whispered of a divine wisdom exiled into the material world. Indigenous traditions preserved the memory of Earth as a living mother whose heartbeat shaped the rhythm of life. Hermetic teachings describe the hidden womb of creation where spirit descends into matter. And in temples beneath the sand, in scrolls sealed in clay, in carvings on ancient stones, her story continued, quiet but unbroken. Philosophically, the Cosmic Mother represents the dimension of reality that modern science calls the quantum vacuum, the field of infinite potential from which all particles emerge. Yet even this language fails to grasp the experiential truth that ancient seekers knew, that this void is not empty at all. It is alive, creative, responsive, a consciousness before form. What we call intuition, synchronicity, spiritual awakening, and inner transformation are echoes of this original wisdom. They are the ways the Cosmic Mother continues to communicate with us today, not through commandments, but through impulses, symbols, patterns, and silence. The tragedy is not that her wisdom was lost. The tragedy is that humanity stopped speaking her language. But the beauty is that we can learn it again. And now we move deeper into the heart of what this Cosmic Mother truly represents, and why her return matters now more than ever. To begin understanding the Cosmic Mother, imagine this: before form existed, before time had direction, before light declared itself, there was an ocean. Not of water, but of pure potential. A vast, unbound field where everything existed in seed form, unexpressed, silent, dreaming. This is the dimension the ancients called the Cosmic Womb. And the Cosmic Mother is that ocean made conscious. She is not a being, but a state of awareness. Not a deity with a face, but the pulse of existence before identity arises. She is the intelligence that holds all possibilities, the quiet architect of becoming. Think of her as the space within which all forms emerge, the canvas that allows the universe to paint itself. If the masculine principle is spark, direction, and outward expression, the Cosmic Mother is depth, receptivity, and the force that shapes the spark into meaning. She is the matrix that allows creation to unfold with order rather than chaos. The ancients understood this not as duality, but as harmony, two halves of the same cosmic breath. To grasp her wisdom, picture a seed buried in soil. The seed contains potential, yes, but it is the dark, nourishing soil that awakens that potential. Without the womb-like environment, the seed never transforms. The Cosmic Mother is that environment for every soul, every universe, every dimension of possibility. And this is where the forgotten truth begins. The Cosmic Mother teaches that creation is not an act of domination, but one of allowing. Not force, but unfolding. Not command, but resonance. Reality does not respond to what we demand. It responds to what we embody. It grows from the internal soil we cultivate. This is why ancient mystics did not seek power through external means. They sought alignment, coherence, inner spaciousness. Yet somewhere along the line, humanity stopped listening. We became entranced by speed, conquest, and the illusion of control. We forgot that true creation requires stillness. That clarity requires depth. That intuition is not weakness, but a direct line to the fabric of the cosmos. The Cosmic Mother's wisdom begins with a paradox. You are both the seed and the soil. You carry potential within you, but you also carry the space where that potential becomes form. Everything you manifest, your relationships, your choices, your inner battles, springs from the quality of your internal womb. If that womb is filled with fear, creation becomes distorted. If it is filled with unresolved pain, life echoes that pain back. If it is open, spacious, and attuned, creation unfolds effortlessly. The Cosmic Mother does not promise comfort. She promises consciousness, an encounter with the hidden places within you, the shadows you avoid, the truths you bury. Because transformation cannot occur without entering the depths. The ancient rites of descent, Ishtar, Persephone, and Inanna, were symbolic journeys into the inner womb, the sacred dark where rebirth becomes possible. And yet, her wisdom is not only about shadow work. It is also about remembering your inherent connection to the living universe. The Cosmic Mother teaches that intuition is not something you develop. It is something you uncover. Something that already exists beneath layers of noise and conditioning. When the mind quiets, the inner voice speaks freely. When the heart softens, synchronicities multiply. When the body feels safe, energy flows with purpose. This is the first layer of her teaching. Creation is communion, a dialogue between your inner world and the field of infinite possibility. To shape reality, you must first shape the space within. But the deeper layer, the one we explore next, is more elusive. It is the part that has been feared, suppressed, or misunderstood. The Cosmic Mother not only creates, she dissolves. She reclaims. She recycles. She returns all things to their original essence, so they may begin again. For now, let this truth settle. The Cosmic Mother is not an external force you seek. She is the forgotten architecture of your consciousness. And remembering her is remembering yourself. To journey deeper into the wisdom of the Cosmic Mother, you must understand one of her most misunderstood roles. She is not only the giver of life, she is the taker of form. The ancients revered her not because she was gentle, but because she was whole, complete, balanced. She embodies both the nurturing womb and the dissolving void, creation and reabsorption, expansion and collapse. She is the breath of the universe in its entirety, not just the inhale. Modern spirituality often glorifies light while fearing the dark, but the Cosmic Mother teaches that true evolution only occurs in the dance between the two. The dark is not evil. It is the realm where old identities shed, where illusions disintegrate, where the ego's armor softens, where the soul remembers its infinite nature. It is the cosmic soil that receives what no longer serves and transforms it into fertile ground for new beginnings. In the ancient world, this duality was honored through myths that appear terrifying on the surface. The devouring goddesses, the destructive mothers, the night queens who swallowed the sun only to birth it again at dawn. These symbols weren't meant to frighten, they were meant to awaken. They remind us that dissolution is not punishment, it is renewal. That endings are initiations. That surrender is not defeat, but alignment. But over time, patriarchal structures feared this aspect of the divine feminine. They feared anything that could not be controlled, quantified, or subdued. And so the Cosmic Mother's dark mystery became demonized. Her cycles were reframed as chaos. Her transformational nature was recast as destruction. Her power to dissolve illusion was seen as a threat to systems built on rigidity and dominance. Yet her presence never disappeared, it simply went inward. This is why so many people today feel called to shadow work, inner healing, or deep introspection without fully understanding why. Something ancient inside them is awakening. Something is pulling them back to the primordial intelligence that knows how to unmake in order to remake. The Cosmic Mother calls through the subtle, the intuitive nudge, the moment of stillness that feels sacred, the breakdown that leads to breakthrough. Her teachings reveal a critical truth. You cannot ascend by avoiding your depths. You cannot expand by resisting contraction. The soul grows in cycles, just as the moon waxes and wanes, just as the tides rise and fall. Every spiritual transformation mirrors the pulse of the Cosmic Mother's ancient rhythm. And yet, there is another layer, one even more mysterious. The Cosmic Mother also represents the hidden blueprint behind consciousness itself. In esoteric traditions, she is the field that shapes thought, emotion, and energy into form. Every symbol, archetype, and myth arises from her. Every intuitive insight originates within her. Every inner transformation is guided by her silent architecture. She is the background operating system of the soul. Think of her as the memory beneath memory, the place where ancestral wisdom, past life imprints, and collective consciousness converge. When you feel a connection to a place you've never been, a truth you never learned, or a wisdom you can't explain, you are tapping into her. You are accessing the primordial library of existence. This is why the Cosmic Mother is often depicted as a web or a spiral. The web symbolizes interconnectedness, how every soul, every thought, every possibility is linked. The spiral symbolizes evolution, how consciousness expands outward, but always returns inward for integration. To understand her fully, you must accept a paradox. She is infinite, yet intimately present within you. She is the cosmic womb, yet also the personal void you encounter during moments of profound inner silence. She is creation, and she is dissolution. She is the essence that births worlds, and the force that calls them home. And now we enter the most important phase: how to apply this wisdom. Because knowing the Cosmic Mother intellectually means little. You must embody her teachings. You must allow your inner world to become a sanctuary where potential awakens, illusions dissolve, and consciousness realigns with the intelligence that has guided humanity long before history was written. The wisdom of the Cosmic Mother is not meant to remain a philosophical idea or a poetic metaphor. It is a living technology, an inner practice that can reshape the way you think, feel, and move through the world. And unlike rigid spiritual systems, her teachings are experiential. You cannot understand them through belief, you understand them through embodiment. The first practice is relearning the art of inner stillness. The Cosmic Mother speaks in silence, not in noise. Her guidance emerges in the spaces between your thoughts, in the moments when the mind no longer pulls you in every direction. You can begin by sitting in quiet darkness for a few minutes each day, breathing slowly, letting awareness sink into the body. This darkness is not symbolic of fear, it is symbolic of return. The womb is dark. The earth is dark beneath the surface. The universe itself is mostly dark space. When you allow yourself to rest in stillness, you step into her domain. As you do this, notice the sensations that rise without judgment, the tension in your chest, the heaviness in your stomach, the thoughts that swirl. These are not distractions. They are messages. They are pieces of you that have been waiting to be acknowledged. The Cosmic Mother's presence softens what you resist. She does not force healing. She creates the conditions for it to happen naturally. The second practice is creating inner space. We spend so much of our lives filled with fear, with noise, with expectation, with the emotional residues of daily living. But creation requires space. Breakthrough requires space. Transformation requires space. You create this by observing your emotional reactions without fusing to them, by letting your thoughts pass without attaching stories to them, by releasing the need to constantly define yourself. The third practice is learning the rhythm of release. The Cosmic Mother teaches that dissolution is sacred. Once a week, choose something to let go of, an outdated belief, a resentment, a habit that drains you. Write it down, breathe into it, and visualize placing it into a dark, fertile soil. In your mind, see it dissolving, breaking apart, becoming raw material for something new. This is symbolic alchemy. It trains your subconscious to understand that endings are safe, that letting go is regeneration, not loss. The fourth practice is intuition activation. The Cosmic Mother communicates through symbols, synchronicity, dreams, and bodily sensations. Begin paying attention to subtle signs, a repeated number, a sudden insight, a feeling that pulls you in a certain direction. Treat intuition not as something mysterious, but as your first language, the one you spoke before logic became dominant. To strengthen this connection, ask a simple question before sleep. What do I need to understand right now? Upon waking, notice the first image, thought, or feeling that enters your mind. It is often the answer. The fifth practice is embodied creation. The Cosmic Mother teaches that manifestation begins within your energy field long before it becomes physical. Instead of forcing outcomes with anxiety or rigid plans, focus on cultivating the emotional and internal conditions that match what you seek. If you want abundance, cultivate inner spaciousness. If you want love, cultivate openness and safety within your body. Creation flows where internal harmony exists. And finally, practice compassion toward your own becoming. The Cosmic Mother is patient. She does not rush evolution. She teaches through cycles, not deadlines. Transformation is not linear, it spirals. Some days you expand, some days you descend inward. Both are sacred. As you engage these practices, something subtle begins to shift. Your intuition sharpens. Your emotional depth becomes a source of strength, not instability. You find clarity without force, growth without pressure, creation without fear. You begin to return to a way of being that feels ancient, natural, familiar. because it is. You are reconnecting to the wisdom you were born from. When you look back across the vast tapestry of human history, its rituals, its myths, its forgotten temples, you begin to notice a pattern. Every civilization that understood the Cosmic Mother flourished in a deep, inner way. Not because they possessed superior technology or political power, but because they lived in alignment with the rhythms of existence. They understood that creation and dissolution, intuition and intellect, expansion and retreat were not opposites, but movements within a single cosmic heartbeat. The tragedy is not that her wisdom vanished. It is that humanity lost the ability to recognize her voice. We mistook noise for clarity. We mistook speed for progress. We mistook force for power. But beneath all the distractions of modern life, her presence has never stopped calling. Through intuition, through breakdowns that lead to breakthroughs, through synchronicities that whisper, "Pay attention," through the quiet longing you feel in moments when the world goes still. If you remember anything from this journey, let it be this: the Cosmic Mother is not a myth to be worshipped. She is a consciousness to be embodied. She lives in your intuition, your creativity, your emotional depth, your capacity to surrender, your ability to be reborn from your own darkness. She is the intelligence that dissolves what you've outgrown and nurtures what you're becoming. As you integrate her wisdom, through stillness, release, intuition, and inner spaciousness, you begin to move through the world differently. More grounded, more aware, more connected to the invisible architecture that shapes your reality. You begin to create not from fear or force, but from resonance. You begin to trust the cycles of your life rather than resisting them. You begin to feel guided, held, and aligned with something ancient and immeasurably wise. The return of the Cosmic Mother is not an event. It is an awakening happening inside individuals across the world. And now you are part of it. If this message stirred something within you, if it opened a doorway or awakened a memory, let it guide your next steps. Share your thoughts below. Your voice is part of the collective remembering. And if you wish to explore deeper mysteries together, subscribe and continue this journey with me. Because the wisdom of the Cosmic Mother is not lost. It is simply waiting for those who are ready to listen. Let this be your invitation to listen,